All right, so good morning. Good morning dito from the United States and good evening po dyan sa Philippines at welcome po ulit dito sa ating live session with Gurong Pinoy. This is Civil Service Exam Review about Philippine Government and General Information. So, ngayong gabi po ay may mga items tayong pag-uusapan, i-review natin, we'll get familiarized and strategize on how to ace civil service exam, especially on the topics on Philippine government and general information. So yung general information po natin would focus on Philippine history and geography because paminsan-minsan, if hindi palagi, may mga items na kinukuha from Philippine geography and Philippine history. So, welcome po kayo dito lahat na sumubaybay sa ating live review. Okay, so tingnan po muna natin kung sino-sino yung mga nakiki-join sa atin ngayon all over the Philippines. So, we have from Samar, Calbayog City from Samar. We also have from, um, let's see, from Pagadian, Zamboanga del Sur, from Tugigaraw again, JC. I still remember JC. Um, yes, mention your friends po sa comment section. And in 1 minute, we will begin our review. So we also have participants from Davao de Oro. We also have participants from NCR and from Albay. Okay? So, meron din po tayo from Taytay Rizal. Good evening po dyan. Then from Isabela, good morning. Good morning. Good morning dito, good evening dyan. Sorry, medyo kakagising lang. So, uh, disoriented pa sa time difference natin. So, 15 hours po yung time difference ko dito, dyan sa inyo. So, ngayon po dito is 5 in the morning. Dyan po is 8 p.m. So, we also have participants from province of Maguindanao. And then we also have from Malangit Pandag, Maguindanao, and from Isabela. Meron din tayo from Oriental Mindoro. Sir Marvin, paki-email lang po. Paki-email lang po sa akin and then pag-uusapan natin yan. Okay. And then we also have participants from Jensen, from Albay. We also have from Cebu and from Iloilo. Mayong gabi and mayong gabi dira sa inyo. Okay, so welcome sa Gurong Pinoy Civil Service Exam Review for Philippine Government and General Information. We also have from Tabogan, Cebu. Mayong gabi dira. Shout out po from Tabogan, Cebu. We also have from Sultan Kudarat. Yung mga naki-join po sa atin kagabi with Philippine government and constitution, they already know me, at saka yung mga kaka-join lang for this session, I'll introduce myself later. We also have from participants from Albay. Hello po from Albay. San Vicente, Katipunan Norte. We also have participants. Okay. Okay, so we have participant from Sagay City, my hometown, Negros Occidental. We also have from Negros Oriental, and from Isabela, from Bohol. We also from Bohol. I've been to Bohol uh, twice. I've been to Bohol twice, pero that was a long time. Zamboanga del Sur, Davao de Oro, Kalinga, Tabuk City. Kalinga, that's in Luzon, right? Luzon. So, yeah, isa sa mga bucket list ko yung Mountain Province. So, welcome po sa ating Gurong Pinoy Civil Service Exam Review for Philippine Government and General Information. Oh, we also have participants watching from Baler Aurora and from Rizal Province. So, welcome po. Um, yung mga participants pa natin dito are already working in the government or first-timers na kukuha ng exam. Kasi if you are working in the government right now and kukuha ka ng civil service exam or sinasabi nilang civil service eligibility, it could help you in your career, no, na for promotion or for regularization. At saka yung mga first-timers po, um, it would add up with your credential, especially if you are seeking for employment with government agencies. So, again, this is for eligibility at saka mahalaga din po naman that when we present ourselves, especially to our employers, so maganda na meron tayong eligibility. Maganda ang career sa government service. No? So, merong iba't ibang benefits na makukuha. So, at least pag civil service eligible tayo, there is a big possibility that we could be regularized or at the same time mapopromote po tayo. So, we are here at Gurong Pinoy para tulungan kayo. So, I've been with Gurong Pinoy for quite a time in the early years of Gurong Pinoy. I'm already with them, coaching sa mga let takers at saka sa mga sa mga uh, civil service na takers. So dati po yung ginagawa namin, pumupunta kami per LGU at saka nagkakandak ng mga review sa mga empleyado na hindi pa civil service eligible. So ito po'y matagal na naming advocacy and itong platform na ito, it's quite new to me kasi yeah, when nagkaroon ng pandemic, so bawal yung face-to-face. So naghanap kami ng paraan na mas mapalawak yung reach natin at mapalawak yung ating matulungan na to prepare themselves sa civil service review. So formally introduce myself. You can screenshot po my details. I am Mr. Alexander Murillo Jr. I am a managing partner of ANA Education Consultancy under the ANJ International LLC. We are a US-based company here in Phoenix, Arizona. Your partner in pursuing a teaching career in the US. So teach in the US and earn an average salary of 200,000 monthly. So back in the Philippines, I am a PRC licensed professional teacher. Here in the United States, I am an Arizona educator proficiency assessment passer, and I'm a certified professional secondary teacher for social studies, certified by the Arizona Department of Education, United States of America. So, teacher po ako dito based in the US, and at the same time, I am a managing partner of ANA Education Consultancy. So you can screenshot po the details and I have my email address there. If you need to contact me, if you need help, if you plan to pursue career here in the US, just email me po. Just email your resume to me. Okay? So, all right. So let's begin our review now. Okay? So same thing lang po. Let's just comment down our answers. Okay, so I'll break down. We'll analyze each item to help us ace the exam or this part of the exam particularly. So you can comment your answers po. So for first question, what are the three main branches of the government of the Philippines? So pag sinabi po nating branches of the government, tumutukoy po ito sa functions and powers. So we're looking into the functions and powers of the Philippine government. So letter A, Senate, Supreme Court, Congress. B, presidential, unicameral parliamentary, bicameral parliamentary. C, legislative, executive, judicial. Letter D, legislative, the Senate, or the Supreme Court. So comment down your answers po. All right. So it seems that all of us are really aware of the three branches of our government. So yeah, it's really important that as soon to be government employees or even in the private sector, we are aware of how our government functions. So we have here, the correct answer here is letter C. Okay, tama po kayong lahat. It's letter C. We have legislative, executive, and judicial. So legislative po, this refers to the lawmaking body of our country, which is what we call the Congress. Then the executive, it is under the president. Ito po yung sinasabi nating tagapagpatupad ng mga batas. Yung mga batas na ginagawa ng legislative department ay pinapatupad ng executive. So in short, yung executive yung namamahala ng functions, ng operations ng ating pamahalaan. And then we have the judicial or the judiciary. Ito naman po yung branch ng ating government na namamahala sa pag i-interpret ng mga batas. Okay po? So, tandaan po natin yung tatlong branches ng ating government: legislative, executive, at judicial. So, for number 2, the Supreme Court is composed of a Chief Justice and how many associate justices? So, these are kind of questions na sometimes medyo hindi natin nabibigyan ng karampatang atensyon, but sometimes these facts and figures could come out in the exam. So since yung mga example, yung mga proficiency exams, it would measure the things that you have learned since you studied. That's why it's called a proficiency assessment, because it measures all the things that you've learned from the past, including the facts and figures that sometimes nakakalimutan natin or we forget already. Okay, so for number 2, please comment your answers po. How many associate justices na meron ang Supreme Court? So the correct answer po is 14. But all in all po, yung members ng ating Supreme Court is 15. Pero pag we're talking about associate justices, there are only 14 associate justices and plus one Chief Justice, that makes them 15. So, ang tanong, mas mataas po ba si Chief Justice kaysa sa mga associate justices? Mas mataas po ba si Chief Justice kaysa sa mga associate justices? The answer po is no. They are all equal because they have one voting power. So, naging Chief Justice lang po siya. It's because the institution needs a leader, but they operate on the principle of what we call primus inter pares. Primus inter pares, ibig sabihin po nito, first among the equals. So, 15 po sila equal lahat sila because they only have one voting power, but the Chief Justice is the first among the equals. Okay po? So, yes, correct ka dyan, Sir JC, pareho lang lahat sila. And the principle is what we call primus inter pares or first among the equals. Okay? So let's move on to number 3. The Commander-in-Chief of all Armed Forces of the Philippines is A. Air Force Commander, B. The President of the Philippines, C. Chief Justice, and D. The AFP Chief Lieutenant General. So for number 3, what's your answer? The Commander-in-Chief of all Armed Forces of the Philippines is. All right, so tama po kayo when you answer letter B, the President of the Philippines. And please take note po that under our Constitution, the President is a civilian. Civilian po yung status ng ating President. So that is why in our state principle and policy, talagang pinapaklear, it's really clear in our principle and state policy that civilian authority is at all times supreme over the military. So, tandaan po natin yan that civilian authority is at all times supreme over the military because the President of the Philippines, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, is a civilian. So tandaan po natin that the President of the Philippines, who is at the same time the Commander-in-Chief of all armed forces of the Philippines, is a civilian. So civilian authority is at all times supreme over the military. Okay po? So let's move on to number 4. The executive power shall be vested in the blank. A. The President of the Philippines. B. The House of Representatives. C. The Supreme Court. D. The Congress. Comment your answers po. The executive power. Okay? So when we say executive power, execute, it means tagapagpatupad. So the correct answer po is yes, tama po kayo. Most of you are tama. It's letter A, the President of the Philippines. So let's not be confused po. When we say executive, nagpapatupad, it's the President. When we say legislative, tagagawa ng batas, it's the Congress. And the Congress of the Philippines is bicameral. Pag sinabi nating bicameral, by dalawa. No, may dalawang bahagi po yung ating Congress. So that's the upper house na tinatawag nating House of Senate, and we have the lower house na tinatawag nating House of Representatives. So yung upper at lower house ba ay equal? Yes, they are. They are both equal kasi sa paggawa ng batas, kahit saan nanggaling yung bill, mag-a-undergo ito ng tinatawag nating process, first to third reading, at pagka nakapasa sa isang house o isang chamber yung bill na ito, ipapasa ito sa kabilang house. So, that makes them equal po. Then, when we say judiciary, it refers po sa ating mga courts. So, we have the lower courts and of course the Supreme Courts. Okay? So tandaan po natin 'yan. Okay? So yes, tama po kayo Sir Rodgen na there are two chambers yung ating Congress. So the House of Representatives and the House of Senate. All right? So let's move on po sa ating question number 5. The legislative power shall be vested in the blank, which shall consist of the House, which shall consist of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Comment your answers po for number 5. Is it A, the Congress of the Philippines, B, the House of Ombudsman, C, the Supreme Court, D, the Bureau of Internal Revenue? So for number 5 po, yeah, I have explained this earlier. Ang gagaling ng ating mga participants, talagang nakikinig sila. So, yes, the correct answer po is letter A. The Congress of the Philippines consists of two houses, two chambers, or in other words, bicameral. Minsan po, they are using terms interchangeably, but it could mean the same thing. So when we say two chambers, that means bicameral. Bi, kasi dalawa, bi. Okay? So our correct answer po is letter A for number 5. Okay? So then let's move on to number 6. So again, these are facts and figures na usually lumalabas. So the Senate shall be composed of how many senators? Okay? So we're on number 6 na po. The Senate shall be composed of how many senators po? Okay? So again, these are facts and figures na kung minsan hindi natin napapansin, but it would come out in the exam. It could come out in the exam. So we have, okay, the correct answer po is 24. So there are 24 senators, and these members of the Senate are elected nationwide. Nationwide po yung pag-elect ng ating mga senators. 12 per election. Kasi merong mga midtermers na ini-elect natin. So 24 po sila elected nationwide. Unlike po sa ating House of Representatives that the members are voted per legislative districts. Okay? So, yes, tama po kayo. When you answer letter D, it's 24. Okay? So, next number po tayo. So, ito po, again, these are facts and figures that sometimes we tend to forget. So, example, question number 7, how long shall the term of office of the senators be commended? So, how long po? Ilang taon po maninilbihan yung ating mga senador? Okay? Ilang taon po sila naninilbihan? Okay, just comment your answer po. Is it A, 3 years, B, 4 years, C, 5 years, or D, 6 years? So, ano po tayo? Let's clarify this kasi meron pa, I know there are some of you who are still confused about the term of office ng ating mga nationally elected officials. For senator po, the correct answer is letter D, 6 years. So our senators shall hold office for 6 years. So the correct answer po for number 7, it's letter D. 6 years na nanunungkulan yung ating mga senators. Okay, it's not 3 years, but it's 6 years. Okay? It's 6 years. Now let's move on po for question number 8. Another question about term of office. So pag sinabi natin pong term of office, gaano kahaba or how many years, how long will these officials serve in that position? Okay? So for question number 8, it's okay lang yan, Sir Rogen, no? 6 years yung ano natin, yung senator. So for question number 8, the president and the vice president of the Philippines shall be up to how many years? So for number 8 po, number 8, how many years po yung president and vice president natin? 3 po ba? 4, 5, or 6? Okay. So the correct answer po is letter D, 6 years. So this coming June, mag 1 year na. Mag 1 year na in his position Our president, no, President Marcos, magwa 1 year na siya. Comes June. Okay? So, 5 more years. Okay? So, next question po. Ito. The members of the House of Representatives shall be elected for a term of. Number 9 na po tayo. So, the members of the House of Representatives shall be elected for a term of. How many years yung ating House of Representatives? So if yung mga senator natin are there to serve for 6 years, yung ating mga members of House of Representatives naman ay the correct answer po is letter A. It's 3 years. 3 years naman po na maninilbihan yung mga members ng House of Representatives. Sometimes we call them congressman, right? Sometimes we call them congressman, but technically the proper address that we should, I mean, the proper title that we should address them is representative. Kasi pag sinabi natin Congress, it refers to both houses. But nakasanayan na natin na tinatawag natin congressman, but the right term really po sa mga members ng House of Representatives or the right title that we could use to address them is representative. Kasi they represent a particular legislative district or a party list. Okay po? Alright, so let's move on po sa ating question number 10. The following shall be exempted. The following shall be exempted from taxation exempted from taxation except. Sino po ba dito sa for question number 10? Sino dito yung hindi exempted sa taxation? Okay? Hindi po. Yung question po medyo confusing. That's why it's really important that we read it carefully. Kasi pag nakita nating exempted from taxation, I know some of you answered this option right away. Pero dapat po, we should really be particular with details. We should be particular with details. So, the following shall be exempted from taxation except. Tumawa si Ma'am Luzvi. No? Yeah, correct po yan, ma'am. May mga questions talaga na nakakalito. That's why we really need to read it carefully and clearly. That's why it's really important that when you take the exam, you should be in good condition. That's why ako, before I took the licensure exam for teachers, the LET, before I took it, talagang nagpaspa ako, nagpamassage ako. I relaxed myself kasi you should be at good condition during the taking of the test. Okay? So for number 10, yes, may sinabing exempt. So for number 10, the correct answer po is letter A, lands and buildings. Okay? Tama po yan, lands and buildings. Exempt. Kasi the rest po, churches and convents, charitable institutions, and non-profit cemeteries, exempted po sila lahat yan from paying taxes. Okay? So, it's letter A. Okay? So, let's move on na po. So, let's be clear with it po. For number 10, the correct answer is letter A. Okay? So, for number 11, okay, the Congress, by a vote of blank of both houses in joint session assembled, voting separately, shall have the sole power to declare a state of war. A state of war. So, ilan po? Ilan? Is it 2/3, 1/2, 3/4, or the minority can declare a state of war? Okay? Again, these are facts and figures that most of the time hindi na natin naaalala, but it could come out in the exam. So in situations where there is a need to declare a state of war, ilan ang kailangang votes? So the correct answer po is letter A, two-thirds. Two-thirds ng ating Congress. And I'd like to clarify this kasi yung policy ng constitution natin, we renounces war as a state policy. Philippines renounces war. Ibig sabihin, as much as possible, hindi magkakaroon ng offensive war si Philippines. Pero yung sinasabi nating state of war dito na i-declare ng Philippines is more on defensive war. So the moment that our territory has been invaded, the Congress can declare a state of war to defend the country, not to declare a state of war to attack other countries, but to defend other countries. So let's be clear with it po, pag sinabi nating state of war, ang tinutukoy po dito ng ating konstitusyon ay defensive war, not the offensive war. Okay po? So let's be clear with it. All right, so number 12. It states that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor any person be denied the equal protection of laws. What article of our Constitution can this clause be found? Is it Article 4, Article 3, Article 5, or Article 1? Okay, please comment your answers po for 12, for question number 12. Okay, so anong article? Okay. So the correct answer is letter B. That's Article 3. Letter B, Article 3. This is Bill of Rights. Okay? Article 3, this is Bill of Rights. Okay po? So, let's be clear with it. It's Article 3, Bill of Rights. Okay po? All right. So, okay. So, it's Article 3. Number 13. All of the following are true except ito na naman siya. Number 13. Number 13. Ito naman po yung mga ano natin, mga word calisthenics, yung mga confused. So, all of the following are true except A. No person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. B. No person shall be imprisoned for non-payment of debt or poll tax. Letter C. No ex post facto bill or bill of attainder shall be enacted. And D. No person shall be detained solely by reason of his political beliefs and aspirations. So, I mean, four of them could be true, but one is wrong. Okay? So let's analyze po ng mabuti. For for letter A, no person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. ito po ay tama because it is within the rights of the accused. So, hindi pwede na maging ano ka, i-compel ka to be a witness against yourself. Actually, itong right na ito, this is our protection against um, yung sinasaktan ka to confess, something like that. No, protection natin yan. Yung tino-torture ka, umamin ka! Sabay tutok ng baril o sabay sa iyo, suntok, ganyan. So, tama po yan. No person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. Letter B po, sinasabi dito, no person shall be imprisoned for non-payment of debt or poll tax. Tama po naman ito. But, yeah. But I think right now, may mga measures na para, I mean, kasi meron mga merong mga issues ngayon na dinudulog sa mga TV shows about non-payment of debt. Yung iba nga pinasa social media, pinupost, magbayad ka na ganito. Pero the Constitution clearly states that no person shall be imprisoned for non-payment of debt or poll tax. For letter D, no person shall be detained solely by reason of his political beliefs and aspirations. Ito po, tama rin po ito for letter D because per experience natin sa martial law where those who are anti-government during that time are imprisoned because magkaiba po yung political belief. So, ito po yung naging safeguard. Inalagay po ito sa ating Bill of Rights to safeguard us that we cannot be detained solely by our political beliefs, not unless you act on your belief that could harm other people. Ibang usapan na po yan. So there's nothing wrong with if you are, for example, if you are being vocal with your dissent sa present government, there's no problem with it. May mga limitations pero may mga limitations ito. Let's say for example you act on it that could harm other people. Let's say nanira ka ng properties, sinira mo, sinunog mo yung mga properties, ganyan, because of your discontent. So ibang usapan na po yan. So which would lead us to the correct answer here, which is letter C. No ex post facto law or bail of attender shall not be enacted. Ano pong nagpamali sa kanya? The word not. Kasi ano po ba itong ex post facto or bill of attainder? Let's say for example, you were convicted. Sorry sa example, but you were convicted for a crime. And upon your conviction, yung prevailing law that time is that you will serve that conviction for like 3 years. And then here comes another law na, like let's say for example, after 5 years, ni-revise yung law na yan. Ang ibig sabihin po ng Bill of Attainder na yung desisyon na ginawa sa kaso mo on that period of time has no relation sa bagong batas na ginawa. So the correct statement po dyan is no ex post facto law or Bill of Attainder shall be enacted. So that's why the correct answer for number 13 is C. Okay po? So number 14. Which of the following describes the citizens of the Philippines? So is it A, those fathers or mothers are citizens of the Philippines? Letter B, those who are born before January 17, 1973 to Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizenship upon reaching the age of majority. Letter C, those who are naturalized citizens of the Philippines in accordance with the law. And letter D, all of the above is true. Okay? So, yes, all of you are correct in saying that it's letter D. All of the above is true. By the way, i-clarify po natin yung kaibahan ng citizenship sa nationality. Kasi pag sinabi nating citizenship, this is more of political ties. Political ties, pag sinabi nating political ties, yung membership mo sa isang state. So pag sinabi nating Filipino citizen, you are a member of the Philippine state. You're part of the Philippine state. So you are accorded with all the rights, protections, and privileges of a Filipino citizen. Pag sinabi naman po nating nationality, it's more of cultural and genetic concept. So, Filipino national, ibig sabihin, our culture, we have a common culture as a Filipino, we have um, common ancestry as a Filipino. So, now for example, if ang isang Filipino national ay nanirahan dito sa US at saka for the longest time nanirahan siya dito with all the permits, papers, legal documents na na-acquire niya, that Filipino national could possibly become later on an American citizen. So, yun po yung kaibahan ng citizenship sa pagiging national or I mean our ethnicity. Okay po? So, okay. So, the correct answer for number 14 is D. For number 15, it is the right and obligation of all citizens who are at least 18 years of age and qualified by law to vote in the election of national and local officials to the government without literacy, property, or other substantive requirements. For number 15, ano po yung right na ito? Ano po yung tinutukoy natin? Okay? Yes, the correct answer po is letter A, suffrage. Nagpapa-confuse po dito si election. I know some of you answered election. Pero tingnan po natin ang premise ng ating question. It is the right. Okay? So, right and obligation. Again, ito yung tip ko sa inyo. Whenever you attack a question, be particular po with the terms na ginagamit. Kasi may mga options na nilalagay just to trick or confuse you. Why? Because this test measures your knowledge and your critical thinking skills. Okay? Kasi, of course, may mga nagtatrabaho na dito sa inyo sa government, especially if you are in the local civil registrar. May mga, ano po ba tayo dito? May mga participants po ba tayo dito na nasa local civil registrar? No? Kasi yung pinopoint ko dito is we should be detail-oriented. No? Especially if you are dealing with different forms or paperwork, mahalaga po na detail-oriented tayo. Okay? So, ang premise ng ating question is, it is the right. So, pag sinabi nating right, tumutukoy ito sa suffrage. So, the correct answer po dito is letter A. Okay? Okay, it's letter A po. Now, let's move on to number 16. The three inherent powers. The three inherent powers of the state are the following. Number 16 na po tayo. Okay, someone is working with LCR here. Okay, nakabaybayin yung kanyang pangalan. So, hindi ko mabasa. I don't know what it is. Alright, so for number 16, the three inherent powers of the state are the following except. Is it A, police power, B, power of eminent domain, C, power of taxation, D, power to religion? Okay, so for number 16, okay, so exempt. So hindi po kasali yung power to religion because yung ating government, no, um, there is what we call the separation of church and state. That is why kung public school kayo or may mga anak kayo na nag-aaral ngayon sa public school and at some point you are have you at some point you have attended flag ceremonies or let's say mga assembly sa school, kung na-notice ninyo, uh, always nauuna yung lupang hinirang kaysa sa prayer. Always nauuna yung lupang hinirang before sa prayer. Kasi we have this separation of church and state, no? So one nation and their different faiths. Ganun po yung konsepto natin dyan. But yeah, the following are the powers of the state. We have the police power, the power of eminent domain, and the power of taxation. So pag sinabi po nating police power, ito po yung kapangyarihan ng estado na magpatupad ng batas. So police power. So example, yung mga curfew, okay? Yung mga pagpapatupad ng mga dati yung mga COVID health protocols natin, yung mga bawal lumabas, mga ganyan. Nagfe-face mask pa ba ngayon sa Philippines? Kasi dito sa US, wala ng face mask. So, dati no, talagang ano yan, issue yung pagkakaroon ng face mask, ganyan, paglabas. So, okay, so Rayel. So si Rayel nagtatrabaho sa LCR sa Nueva Ecija. Hi, shout out sa iyo. Good luck sa exam. So, yeah. Police power po yan. Hindi na masyado nagmamask. Siguro in some establishment na lang, no? You need to wear mask pag pumasok ka sa mga establishment. But yeah, all in all, yung mga policies na at mga regulations na naranasan natin during COVID COVID times, part po yan yung pagpapatupad po yan, part yan ng police power ng ng ating pamahalaan. And then for letter B, the power of eminent domain, ito naman po yung kapangyarihan ng ating estado na kung saan pag ang isang private property ay kinakailangan ng publiko, sinasabi nating public use, may kapangyarihan po yung ating pamahalaan na i-take over yan. Pero hindi basta-basta. Kasi dapat babayaran ng pamahalaan ang property na yan na kanyang kukunin para gamitin sa public use. Okay? O serbisyo publiko. Then, oh yeah, meron pa ring mask pero nasa sayo na lang. Yeah. 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 Kahit dito sa US, for example, if like in my case, I still wear mask if sinisipon ako, you know. But yeah, all in all dito, wala nang nagmamask. Then power of taxation, this is ano naman po, power ng ating pamahalaan or power ng state to impose taxes sa lahat. I mean, this is the power of the state to collect taxes kasi yung taxes naman po, ito yung lifeblood ng ating ito yung ating, ang lifeblood ng ating pamahalaan. So, funds na ginagamit ng ating pamahalaan ay galing sa atin. Galing sa mga negosyo, galing sa mga purchases natin. Kasi bawat pagbili natin, meron tayong EVAT, no? So, in short, yung power of taxation ay nagsasabi na lahat tayo may ambag No? Lahat tayo may ambag. Kasi sa pagbili mo pa lang ng, I mean, pagbili mo ng mga pagkain or pagbili mo ng mga bagay na kinakailangan mo para mabuhay or pagbayad mo ng mga bills, pagbayad mo ng bill sa kuryente, sa tubig, may tax kang binabayaran diyan. So I think it's 12%, no? So yeah, I know that medyo mahirap ngayon ang buhay kasi lahat nagmamahalan. Ano? Yung ano ba yung sibuyas ba mahal pa rin? Mahal pa rin yung sibuyas kasi yung iba ang yung igi-gift nila daw ano this Valentine's ano na hindi na flowers, sibuyas bouquet yung i-gift nila sa kanilang mga asawa or sa kanilang mga girlfriends kasi napakamahal na daw ng sibuyas. Okay? So, tandaan po natin yung three inherent powers of the state. We have the police, the power of eminent domain, and the power of taxation. Sabi ni Mary, super po. Super mahal ng sibuyas. So yeah, baka Mary makatanggap ka ng sibuyas bouquet from your significant person. Okay? Okay. So tapos na kasi yung election, wala nang mask. Okay. Ang sibuyas, oh, mahal parang si X. Mahal pa. Oh! Oh my God. Yung mga ex na yun, dapat nile-let go na yan. Rodjen, yung mga ex, dapat nile-let go na. Okay, so let's move on. Number 17, it is the power of the state to promote. Okay, it is the power of the state to promote the public welfare by restraining the use of liberty of particular individual or groups who endanger other people. Okay? Is it A, police power, B, power of eminent domain, C, power of taxation, D, power to impeach? So, saan po dito for number 17? Promote public welfare by restraining the use of liberty of a particular individual or groups who endanger other people. So, yung ating context clue po dito is public welfare, then restraining the use of liberty. And another big phrase is endanger other people. So in this case po, yung tinutukoy natin, tama po kayo when you answer letter A. It's the police power. So example po, may kapitbahay kayo na ito common ito during birthdays, pag may birthday sa inyong place. Let's say for example, nagvi-videoke or karaoke and then it's already 12 midnight at napakalakas pa rin. So, yeah, nagka-cause ng public disturbance. Yeah, actually you could report it to the barangay officials, no? Or yeah, sa police station for disrupting, no? For disrupting your sleeping time. Okay? So the correct answer po for number 17, it's letter A, the police power. Okay? So let's move on po for number 18. Ito, we are still on the power of the state. So binibigyan po namin kayo dito ng mga scenarios so that ma-identify natin, ma-classify natin yung iba't ibang kapangyarihan ng Estado. So for question number 18, it is the power of the state to take properties for the purpose of public use upon payment of just compensation. Okay? Yung clue po natin dito, take property, power of the state to take property for purpose of public use upon payment of just compensation. So, anong power ng state ito? So the correct answer po is letter, yes, it's letter B, power of eminent domain. So pinaka-classic na halimbawa po nito is the road widening. Nagkakaroon po ng road widening project. So example, may property ka na masasakop nung road widening project or the road widening program. So yung ano po, yung mangyayari is babayaran ka ng government para magamit yan part of your property. Okay? So that power of the state to take private property for public use upon just compensation is what we call the power of eminent domain. So it's not taxation po, it's power of eminent domain. So tandaan natin, eminent domain, take private property for public use upon payment of just compensation. So tandaan po natin yan. Okay? So let's move on po sa question number 19. So for question number 19, it is the power of the state to impose charges or burdens on persons and properties in property rights for the purpose of raising revenues to protect the people and extend public projects and services. So is it A, police power, B, power of eminent domain, C, power of taxation, D, power to impeach? Okay? So, nauna na po kanina yung police power, sinabi natin, binigay natin yung konteksto kung paano ginagamit yung police power. Then, question number 18, it's private property for public use. So, for number 19, we have of course, letter C, the power of taxation. So, may mga context clue po tayo dito. First is the word or the term revenue. So pag sinabi nating revenue, tumutukoy ito sa mga binabayaran nating taxes. So that's why sinabi ko sa inyo kanina na lahat tayo may ambag sa pag-angat ng ating bayan, pag-angat ng ating lipunan because halos lahat may tax tayong binabayaran. Even yung bigas na binibili mo, yung ulam na binibili mo, may tax na binabayaran ka diyan. So lahat tayo may ambag. So that's why I really don't like it when someone would express his dissent, when someone would express his dissent to some government policies and then sasabihin na, tumahimik ka na lang, wala ka namang ambag. No? So lahat tayo may ambag because of this power of taxation. So, yung issue kasi dyan, kung paano pinapamahalaan yung nako-collect na taxes mula sa ating pinaghirapan. Okay? So, the next time na sinabihan ka na, ay, tumahimik ka, wala ka namang ambag, sabihin mo yung power of taxation. Okay po? No, ini-impose. No? Power of the state to impose charges or burdens. Okay? So, clear na po yung tatlong powers ng state. We have the police power, the power of eminent domain, and the power of taxation. So, tandaan po natin yung tatlong kapangyarihan ng ating estado. Okay? So, let's move on. Let's move on po. The following are members of Constitutional Commission exempt. Okay, is it Commission on Civil Rights, Commission on Election, Commission on Audit, or Civil Service Commission? Saan po yung hindi kasali dito? Okay, so the correct answer po for question number 20 is letter A. except, so yung Commission on Elections or COMELEC, yung Civil Service Commission, CSC, at saka yung Commission on Audit or what we call the COA, these three po are constitutional commissions and they are independent. Okay po? Ang Commission on Civil Rights po, panggulo lang yan. So that's the exemption. Okay, so for number 20, the correct answer po is letter A. So yung tatlo pong ito, Commission on Election, Civil Service Commission, Commission on Audit, these are constitutional commissions. Ibig sabihin, upon framing of the Constitution, yung tatlo po ito ay talagang komisyon na tinatag ng ating konstitusyon. Okay? So, ang iba po by virtue of RA na lang, Republic Acts or Executive Orders. But these three, Commission on Elections, Civil Service Commission, and Commission on Audit, these are our safeguards actually sa ating pamahalaan that they protect our basic right and of course the functions of our government. Okay po? So, for question number 21, it states that public office is a public trust and that public officers and employees must at all times be accountable to the people, serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, act with patriotism and justice, and lead most lives. So, what is this? Is it public trust? Is it constitution rights? Is it accountability? Or is it responsibility? Mhm. So yung tinutukoy natin po dito ay yung mga empleyado at mga officers kung paano nila gagampanan ang kanilang tungkulin. Ako po, 10 years po akong public school teacher dyan sa Pilipinas before we move here in the US. So, every day, every week, nire-recite po natin yung panunumpa ng kawani ng pamahalaan. So, sa panunumpa na yan, nasasaad yung ating mga tungkulin. So, we're talking of tungkulin ng isang empleyado. So, ano po yung tinutukoy dito na dapat at all times be accountable to the people. Serve them with utmost responsibility. So, how will you show that accountability? Kasi yung nagsasahod sa atin yung pamahalaan, and where does the government gets its fund from? The taxes of the people. So we are there as government employees. We are there to serve the people. So ano yung tinutukoy natin dito? Iba-iba pa yung mga answers natin, but let's not be confused. Kasi yung tinutukoy po natin dito is the accountability. How will you show your accountability as government employees? By serving your clients with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. So yun po, as employees of government, we are accountable. Mapa-department head ka or mapa-utility pa dyan, whatever your position is, we are accountable. That's why we have to do our very best in performing our tasks as government employees. No? So, ganun po dapat if we are employees of the government. We serve the utmost responsibility, integrity, and loyalty. So, hindi pwede na kung kakilala mo, sige, una ka natin. Or I really don't like it when I hear someone na, okay, magpa-process tayo dito, mabilis lang to kasi kakilala ako sa loob. I really don't like to hear that. Yung sinasabi na na may kakilala kasi ako sa loob, so mabilis lang yung pag-process natin, something like that. Kasi dapat as employees of the government, equal po yung treatment natin sa lahat. Especially if you are on a higher position. Okay? All right. So, question number 22. A House committee in charge of conducting investigation of alleged corrupt and graft practices of government officials. Number 22 na po tayo. Okay. So for number 22, usually naririnig natin ito sa mga news kapag may mga issue ng mga corruption. No? They are usually in charge with corruption and graft practices issues of government officials. So yung pinaka So is it A, Blue Ribbon Committee? Is it B, Committee on Ways and Means? Is it C, Commission on Election? Or is it D, Committee on Education? Of course, when we say corrupt and graft practices, yung nag-iimbestiga po nito is ang ating Blue Ribbon Committee. Okay? So tandaan po natin ito. Sometimes these questions or this kind of information may sometimes hindi natin nabibigyan ng pansin. Yeah, because hindi naman sa pang-araw-araw na buhay natin we deal with this. But yeah, it's important that we know this stuff, no? So which could also come out in the exam. So it's the Blue Ribbon Committee. Okay. So for number 22, the answer is letter A. Okay. So for number 23, let's move on na po for number 23. RA 6713 is an act to uphold the time-honored principle of public office being a public trust, granting incentives and rewards for exemplary service, enumerating prohibited acts, and providing penalties for violations thereof and for other purposes. Ano po ito? Don't worry, JC. I will be sending the PDF format of the PowerPoint na present ko. Okay? So don't worry, JC. I'll be sending it. No worries. Okay? So, yes po. So, if you are a government employee and official, we are bounded by this law. RA 6713, this is letter D, our Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. And isa sa mga pinaka, shall I say, pinaka not issue, but yeah, more of personal issue is coming on time. Coming on time. I don't know why. Maybe perhaps it is embedded in our psyche or naka-default na sa atin. Why is it pag when it comes to punctuality, parang sometimes we laugh at ourselves when palaging late, palaging late, palaging late. Something like that. I don't know why we have this concept of Filipino time. Kasi, yeah, Aray, sabi ni Mary Aray. Yeah, we will send this after this. I'll send after this. Okay? Jeline Pasibas. Yeah, isend natin yan mamaya. Okay? So, yeah. Kasi dito sa US, yeah, very particular po sa time yung mga bossing na puti. But yung kaibahan lang, dito sa US, especially if you're working in a school, they don't take your time in and time out. Seryoso po yan. Wala po kaming bandy clock dito or yung digital na na biometric para kumuha ng attendance mo, ng time record mo, wala po dito. Wala po dito. So, because sabi ng boss ko, we trust you that you will come on time or even before the time and leave after the time of work. So, iba po yung dating kapag, I mean, upon hearing that, I feel confident with myself na, yeah, I'll do my task well before, I'll do my task well kasi I'm being trusted. So, wala po ditong daily time record. Just come into school and leave to school within the time of your work. Yun po. Okay? So, but nonetheless, yeah, as government employees in the Philippines, we are expected to have this, exemplary service. Okay? So, let's move on to question number 4. Question number 4. The following are duties and responsibilities of public officials and employees except A. Act promptly on letters, inquiries, and calls for any other form of communication sent by the public. Letter B. Submit performance reports of the agency or office regularly. C. Accept gifts from public upon prioritizing their queries. D. Process documents and papers expeditiously. Oh, tandaan po natin yan. The correct answer po is letter C. We are not allowed to accept gifts from the public upon prioritizing their queries. Pero kung minsan we have this Filipino concept of utang na loob. I think that's where giving gifts spring from. Like, kasi tayong mga Pilipino, we are a grateful people. We always show our a feeling of being thankful through gifts, something like that. So, yeah,